Hello everybody and welcome back to Hearts of Iron, where last episode the People's Republic of the Malay Archipelago capitulated, but they didn't actually give us all that much territory on the Malay Archipelago. Unfortunate. We've got a lot of invasion to do yet, so that is absolutely understood. We're working out over here. I'm not too concerned about this right now, although I'm looking at our organization out here. It's a little bit on the rough side. That's for sure. We need to get this naval base motorized. That will be a significant improvement on getting supply down over here. And we may also want to consider another naval base about right here. And then we can run a rail line down like that, and then a rail line up like, I don't love that. Maybe up like this. Yeah, that's a little bit better. So we can get going on that. That'll be fine. And when are we going? Okay, this is a long ways away. 14 January before we get this supply hub done. I'm not too concerned about pushing over here right now. It'll be fine. We're just working on getting our backline set up at this point. So that's absolutely okay. Down in Australia, we do have some progress that has been made here. And I am wondering, these are connected here. I'm wondering if we could maybe push into here and then attack these from a lot more positions. If we were to take these tank units and attack like this, would that do anything? Not really, is the answer. Okay. Well, that's understood. We'll just keep working on that attack for now. I'm not too concerned about it. Out over this direction, of course, we're still slowly working on whittling these down, and let's just continue to work on that for now. We're planning a naval invasion out over here, and that naval invasion is a long ways away from being completed. We're also planning a naval invasion out over here. This is only 4 divisions, and this is probably ready to go, yeah. But we don't have the naval supremacy that we need, specifically here and here. Okay, well, we definitely don't need a naval invasion support over here in the Straits of Malacca. So let's bring that over to here. We are still going to need some things out over this direction, but I don't think we need this fleet. We can have that head up over this direction and patrol right up over in the Moluccas. And then we can have this also be up over here. Something about like that. And actually, I think that we don't need this in the Moluccas. I'm going to have this instead come down over to, well, this is 2 separate sea zones here. But I think overall we should be down here, not up here, as of right now. Okay, so that's absolutely fine navally. Over here in the Timor Sea, we don't have a fleet that is currently here. I think they're probably repairing. We may want to consider grabbing some of these guys and making a new fleet out of our reserve fleet here and sending them over to be on convoy raiding in the Timor Sea, because we want to prevent resources and supplies from getting here to Australia. So let's do that for now. Now, we can look at the Philippines here. We made some progress here since we last looked at this. A little bit. It's not a lot of progress, but it's certainly some. I think this happened right at the tail end of last episode, and we haven't really done anything with this yet. So we do have a naval base here, but it's not actually active? Is the naval base actually here? If so, we can go grab it. We can also start running a rail line like this, which I think is probably a good thing to do. So we'll get going on that. That seems fine. Okay, now it's active. We just needed to run the game for a moment. So we can get that motorized up, and that'll be fine. Is this a supply hub or a naval base going in up over here? I think it's a naval base, right? Yeah, that's a naval base. Okay, cool. So that's absolutely great. And we do want to surround these if we can. So the real goal here should be to walk like this. And I think this is over if we get that. They probably still have forces down in Manila, but we can definitely push through this without any major issue in that case. So that seems good. And then out over here, when are these guys going to be ready to invade? So those are ready to invade. These still need about 30 days. That's okay. I'm willing to be patient on that one. So that seems absolutely fine. Our main focus at this point needs to be on the Philippines. We're retreating from here. That was definitely not ideal. We just kind of immediately, instantly gave up in that area. So that's definitely not ideal. Let's have these guys start heading down this direction. And I do still want to make progress over this way. Let's see about an encirclement. Okay, so they're down over here, but this looks like we can definitely encircle here. And you're on your way here. We need to launch an attack this direction. So we need these guys to attack from here. There we go. And in the meantime, we can have these forces attack up over this direction, like so. And then we'll just leave this be for right now. They're going to push this direction, but that doesn't matter to us. So that's completely and totally fine. They can do this if they like. Okay, so we just took the center here. That is extraordinarily important because now these guys, they have nowhere to run. They cannot retreat. So that is huge. And then these guys over here, they're just kind of positioning for the moment. Let's get these eliminated. There we go. They are gone. And then we'll get these forces redeployed. So that seems okay. Now, I'm just thinking about supplies over in this area. If we're going to be sieging Manila for a long time, which I don't necessarily think we're going to, but if we're going to be sieging Manila for a long time, a supply hub would be good. If we're not, simply a naval base about here. And then that would allow us to put in a rail line like this to help supply this area. So something along those lines is what we're looking at. Looks like this invasion successfully went, so we need to get rid of this, and we need to start planning a new invasion here. What do you suppose the odds are they're not defending their capital here? I don't know. Maybe we should go for the naval base instead. So we'll get that planning. I'm not going to execute that invasion yet. Out over this direction, I want to check in on timings. That's going to be a while still. And this, we're still working on. We'll get that done eventually. These naval invasions down over here, how are they going? Well, we've got a while yet on those. That's understood. Out over this direction, supplies are still a little bit grim, and we're not shocked about that. And over in Australia, this is mostly a standoff at this moment. That said, these guys are looking pretty weak. If we can take this province, it's over. That's where their supplies come through. Let's launch an all-out attack here. While these guys launch a holding attack here and here. I don't think we'll actually get this, but I want to know what it ends up looking like. So far, that was looking good, but we kind of stopped the attack very, very early there. So that's understood. That's very interesting. We have the possibility of getting some very, very good progress there. So that sounds good. Now, these guys over here, they're much more in position to attack here. And that's exactly what we want them to do. We want to take this position, get them out of here. As far as this goes, I'd like for these guys to just walk down over here and completely encircle Manila. So let's do exactly that. That gets us a victory point. And then we can just walk down this direction. And I'm 99% certain... Wait, there is a connection here? Okay, there is a connection here. That's surprising to me. I didn't think there was. But it was worth a try, and here we are. So yeah, there is a connection here. There's a front line here with 5 units assigned to this order. That's fine. We can offensive line them all the way down to, like, here, right? And that'll be fine. There may or may not be anyone that attempts to stop them on that. So that seems good for now. These guys are encircled, and the Philippines are really, really close to falling at this point. So that's absolutely great. We're still working on that preparation. Out over this direction, these guys should be really close. Yeah, 144 out of 157. Okay, we'll come back to that in a moment. I really want to get this stack wipe done over here, and the attack on Manila is going to be a bit of a long-term thing. We're going to be pretty low on supply out over this direction. I do want to start construction of a naval base about here. And then I want to build a rail line that goes down like that. So we'll get that started, and that will get us some amount of supply down in this area to help supply our attack on Manila, because I think that that will indeed be necessary. I don't think this is going to be a long siege of Manila, to be clear, but I think that we do need some supply in this area. So that looks fine. We just took this position, which means that these guys are in absolutely dire situations right now. They have nowhere to retreat, so they're just going to stack wipe. Anytime they try to retreat, they stack wipe, and let's get that cleared out. We're continuing to push out over this direction, which looks good. I do want to make sure we're not bypassing some of these little areas, which is absolutely fine. We'll just move up over here. And this is now dealt with. So the question is, can we just take Manila right now? I think we probably could. Yes. Yes, we can just take Manila right now. Perfect. So that slave army is going to go away. There we go. No problem there. And then they've got that 1 infantry division, and it's gone. So Manila's gone. We expect the Philippines to possibly capitulate here, and that will tell us if they have any troops in these areas. Also, we are heading this direction. Okay, good. Well, I guess maybe they're not going to capitulate just yet. Surprising. And I do have troops here. Okay, so that does mean that we're going to need a source of supply up over this direction. So this is maybe a little less necessary at this point. I'm going to cancel the construction here. But I'm going to keep the construction, I think, up over this direction. And we're going to run the rail line down over this way and connect the rail line in Manila over to here. Connect this down, and then cancel this section of rail, like that. And then this can get leveled up to level 5. This is irrelevant. I don't care about that. And we can just do something kind of like this to supply us down over this way a little bit. We'll see if we need to push further than that, but for now, that should do. Also, we can just max out our existing naval base in Manila. That's fine. Okay, so we're going to push through here in theory with no real problem unless they have a lot of additional forces behind this. We might have a problem with the straight crossings, but I don't think that that will actually be the case. We lost our organization on that attack. But we do have additional forces on the way in, but that could get rough. We're going to have some supply issue. No doubt about that. Okay, checking in over here. How is this going? Well, they've kind of recovered their organization a little bit over here, it looks like. Which is definitely not ideal. This supply hub is finished, though, and that should get motorized up, which is going to, of course, be a very big deal for getting supplies out over this direction. So that supply hub means that we should be fully supplied-ish as far as all of this Australian fighting goes. I say ish. That should be good enough. So as far as this goes, we'll continue to work on that. Oh, and I didn't mention this. And that's because there's not really been much happening up here. We've got low organization up over this direction. And we may want to give this guy, like, army regrouping. It's probably not a bad idea. And we may also want to give him Fortress Buster. Yes. I think they have forts here, right? I'm like... Oh, yeah, they've got 8 levels of land fort there. That's the core issue. So I'm going to take Fortress Buster for this guy and Infantry Expert. So the infantry are going to be attacking at 10% strength, and then everything is going to be attacking forts at 15% strength, and giving us access to siege artillery. So that should help matters here, but it won't necessarily make it, you know, completely easy for us to take that position. And that's absolutely understood. Now, we're taking down convoys. The convoys are being intercepted here. They're not being intercepted here, and they're not being intercepted here, which should mean that supplies are not reaching these infantry units, right? But I don't think that's actually the case. As of right now, though, I want to come over here, and I want to get these guys executing their attack. We don't know how many divisions are actually here. We don't know. But we're going to launch an invasion of this teeny tiny little island with 40 divisions, and we will see if that is sufficient. It's kind of a lot. Okay. Maybe. It might be sufficient. We will see. Yikes. It's not going well, to be honest. Well, maybe it is. It's a hard maybe. Well, while that's happening, I want to hop out over this direction. We're about to push across this strait, but we don't have a source of supply this far out. We're overextended beyond our supply line. And, of course, that means that this naval base is going to need to get finished up soon enough. But that is going to be a few more days. So we're going to push across here. Please move forward. We pushed them back, but we didn't actually move across the strait. And now, at this point, they have defenses here. Okay. Well, we'll check back in on our naval invasion over here. So, this is going in a mediocre fashion at this moment. I really wonder how many units they have here. It's probably like 5 or 6, if I had to guess. This was almost enough to crack them. Almost. We're going to keep attacking. We'll see what happens. Maybe we happen to get a stack wipe or two. That would be fantastic. Out over this direction, I want to check in on the status of our supply construction. Oh, look at this. We've actually pushed a little forward over this direction. We can start work on a supply hub about here. And we can run some rail lines about like that. And then these guys, they've isolated quite a lot of enemies here. We don't really have supply in this area to handle that. But they're going to get the supply from this naval base. So that seems okay. Let's launch an attack here and see what happens. They do get a trickle of supplies from this victory point, but that seems fine. We'll see if we can push them back. The answer is no, we cannot. Not at this moment, anyway. We can resupply a whole lot better than they can, though, so we'll get going on that. That seems okay. Up over this direction, we cannot push across this strait yet, but this naval base is built at this moment. Now, I'm going to start building a supply hub here, because I think this might end up being a bit of a protracted siege here to get across this strait at current situations. So we'll see what happens here, and that'll be fine for the moment. I want to come down over this direction, checking in on these two. They are close to being able to launch their invasions. Okay, so that's good. These guys over here, they are almost ready to launch their invasion as well. I don't expect much resistance there. Out over this direction, this invasion is probably not going to succeed. But it was definitely an interesting attempt. We were kind of close to succeeding. Kind of close. But they've definitely got themselves a bit of a fortress going on over here. I'm going to reassign these units. and we'll start prepping that again. Okay, so that'll be fine for now. And we're definitely going to have to do more naval invasions out through here. So these guys over here, are they ready to invade this? They are. Let's go ahead and do this, and the question is there anyone defending this naval base? Probably. They would be pretty dumb to not defend a naval base, but yeah, they're definitely defending that naval base. And they're almost certainly going to bring in reinforcements. We're winning this engagement right now. I'm not sure that's going to maintain. And this is only a level 1 naval base. Wait a second. Wait a second. We got it. Okay, so we need this entire army to be assigned over here. Where are our troops? There we go. That just took a moment. Okay, so we need the entire army to be assigned over here. They need to make their way in, and we need to build up the naval base level, and we need to get some land forts here. Now I'm going to send one of these units out this direction to clean up this area. I'm going to send one of these units up this direction to stack wipe this unit and take this area. That's going to give us 2 fronts to attack here, but this is going to be across a strait. And that's going to be very exciting. We'll go ahead and motorize this. Not that I think we need it at this distance, but that'll be fine. Okay. So they're launching attacks over this direction, as we would expect. Go ahead and don't attack that at this moment. We've got reinforcements on the way in. There we go. So our reinforcements are here now, and that's absolutely wonderful. I want to check down over here. Yeah, these guys have a major supply issue. I'm going to launch this attack again, and we'll see how this goes this time. It's going okay, but I'm not necessarily convinced we're going to win that. So up over this direction, we're mostly waiting on this supply hub to get finished. That's going to take time. That's okay. I'm not too concerned about that. Let's check in up over here. We've not made any stack wipe progress on this. Okay. Well, we have additional attack up here. Hopefully that will provide some amount of dividend later on. So that's all absolutely fine. Supplies are getting stretched out over here, and that's not surprising. But we're working on it. This hub should actually be finishing up fairly soon. Yeah, 14 January, that's in 3 days. So that's going to supply the vast majority of this area. We really probably don't need this hub, but it's still useful to have. Okay, that hub is finishing now. It just finished. We'll get that motorized. And supplies are flowing in over here now. Now you can see they're trying to attack here to push us back. This is irrelevant. We did manage to get this at this point, so that looks good. Reinforcements are going to arrive over here, and supplies are in place over this direction. Now, over here, we've managed to get these guys mostly supplied. I want to grab about half of these forces, and we're going to have them launch an attack up over here. The main question at this point is, are we going to be able to open up a second front to attack the Moluccas? And I think the answer to this is yes. I'm looking at their amount of equipment here, and it's kind of low. Hi, pause menu. So that's all a very good thing. These guys, they're mostly just chilling, and to be honest, we should probably fortify this position. We do have supplies over here, but it's not a lot, and we're mostly just waiting for construction over there. Out this direction, these guys should be ready to launch. Yeah, I don't necessarily think that there will be anyone to defend this. And these guys are probably also ready-ish to launch. Yeah, go ahead and do this. These guys. Not these guys. I don't know who these are. Oh, that's these guys. Yeah, that's actually fine. They can do that. So, yeah, I don't think there's going to be any defenses here. This is probably going to be unopposed. But we're going to have to build naval base here because now we can't leave. So we have to get some naval base set up there, but we don't need 10 levels of it. Let's bring this down to 1 level of naval base. That'll be fine. And then down over here, I do expect both of these to be undefended as well, or at least this one, probably. This one may be undefended. Looks like it is. Okay, just go ahead and get this. And just head up over here. Perfect. And then that's part of this. Okay, perfect. So no problem there, and we've taken this position at this point. So now I would like to see these guys start... Actually, they're attacking us, and this is very foolish. They should not do this. They're in serious danger right now from attacking like this. They really shouldn't be doing this. Let's attack them. They're exhausted. They're going to stack wipe super quick. There goes one. They really should not have attacked. I don't know what they were thinking. That was ridiculous. That made that so much easier than it should have been. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to have these guys prep a naval invasion from here to here. It's going to take them a bit because that's 24 units, but that's fine. So that seems absolutely a-okay. We're just going to continue taking over some of these areas. Out over this direction, we're continuing to press forward as our logistics improve out over here. And we're going to get access to their naval bases pretty soon out over here. I don't think we need to build any additional logistics here. I think we're already overbuilt on our logistics. So that seems absolutely fine. Checking in on Australia. Oh. Come in. We're hard committing. We're tying them down over here. We're hard committing here because if we take this naval base, that is huge. No, continue these attacks. Please attack here. I know you're going to lose those attacks. It's fine. All you're doing is you're tying those down. No, continue to attack. All you're doing is making it so they can't reinforce. Attack. Just attack. It's over. Australia just fell. Okay, so that's huge. They have no source of supply here now. So that's absolutely wonderful. At this point, it's over. There's nothing they can do. So we're just going to commit to these attacks and push them back a little bit. We just need to whittle them down, and that's absolutely fine. With them having no source of supply, this is over. It's only a matter of time. So these guys are supposed to be moving here, and they didn't, but that's okay. I want to start thinking about a naval invasion from here is fine over to here. Now, that position... Yeah, this is all one province here. So that should be all of this area invaded at this point. And we'd have to start heading like here, heading out this direction. But we're making good progress here, no doubt about it. It is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to see about wiping out some of these additional areas, and that will be fantastic. We're making very solid progress. It's slow, to be sure, but we're doing pretty well. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.